President and CEO of Bio.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege to say hello to all of you today and to introduce Dr. Thomas Tritton, President and CEO of the Chemical Heritage Foundation, to present the 2011 Biotechnology Heritage Award. Dr. Tritton.
Thank you, Steve. The very first Biotechnology Heritage Award was given in 1999 to George Rathman, co-founder of Amgen. Thus, this year, 2011, marks the 12th consecutive year that the Chemical Heritage Foundation has joined with Bio to present the Biotechnology Heritage Award, recognizing outstanding contributions to the biotechnology community. Going back just a bit further in history to 1989, 13 years after the founding of Genentech and what many regard as the beginning of the biotechnology industry, Joshua Boger founded Vertex Pharmaceuticals based on a now familiar strategy of rational drug design. Most biotechnology companies at that time were based on screening and combinatorial chemistry, assembling new molecules and then looking for applications. While this was Josh Boger's background as well, he moved to Vertex with a new vision, seeking to understand the fundamentals of a disease, then developing the appropriate treatment. Under the 2 decades of his leadership, Vertex grew from a startup to a widely admired and successful company with a proven and important treatment for hepatitis C, as well as a robust pipeline with advanced clinical trials in cystic fibrosis, immune-mediated inflammatory disease, and epilepsy. Most impressively, Vertex is continually judged as a top place to work by Science, the scientists, the Boston Globe, and many others. Josh earned his PhD in chemistry at Harvard, and then as a postdoc, he worked in the lab of Nobel winner Jean-Marie Lane. He's the author of more than 50 scientific publications, holds 32 issued U.S. patents in pharmaceutical discovery and development, and has lectured widely in the U.S., Europe, and Asia on various aspects of drug discovery and development. In 2003, he was named one of 40 technology pioneers worldwide at the Davos World Economic Forum. Josh is chair of the Board of Trustees of Wesleyan University, immediate past chair of the Biotechnology Industry Organization, and a founding director and chairman of the New England Healthcare Institute, among many other leadership positions of service to science and to society. Please welcome the recipient of the 2011 Biotechnology Heritage Award, Dr. Joshua Boger.
I'm truly humbled by this award. To explain why I might credibly be so humbled, I need to tell you a little more about how Vertex is organized and more about how we've planned research, development, and commercialization, how we planned building the company. It's often been noted that bringing novel medicines forward is akin to planning a war. For sure, it takes as long and costs as much. So back in 1989, when planning to build what became Vertex, I turned for advice to a 2,500-year-old Chinese text called Sun Tzu's Art of War. Sun Tzu begins his classic military treatise noting 5 essential features of successful planning. A couple of these are obvious: leadership and management. But there's great subtlety in doing these correctly, a topic for another day. The third and fourth essential features of successful planning are the environment and the landscape. In our context, the environment, always changing, includes careful assessment and reassessment of the medical, regulatory, and reimbursement environments for potential innovations. And the landscape, which changes more slowly, includes a realistic assessment of the hills and valleys, the wide open fields, and the narrow constrictions that characterize a specific scientific and medical challenge. So successful plans address leadership, management, environment, and landscape. That's 4. But it's the 5th element of successful plan that we at Vertex have spent considerable differentiating effort over the years. Sun Tzu calls this 5th element, in at least one translation, the way. The way is the alignment of values and of mission all the way through an organization, from top to bottom, from the CEO to the shipping clerk, from discovery through development through commercialization. If everyone in an organization owns the plans, owns the mission, and owns the plans that, or the values that drive that plan, then the plan is holographic. Like a hologram, the whole picture is contained in every part of the picture. In such a holographic plan, a plan built with the way, every soldier is willing to sacrifice whatever it takes to succeed. Everyone at Vertex owns the plan. Everyone at Vertex has heard for the last 22 years, you own the mission to innovate, to redefine health, to change the very defining consequences of a disease, and to thereby transform lives with new medicines. So I am proud to say that according to plan, I truly do not deserve this award. But I will accept it on behalf of the many Vertex employees who collectively continue this battle to banish suffering and to conquer disease. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Jay Siegel, Chief Biotechnology Officer and Head Global Regulatory Affairs, Janssen Pharmaceutical Companies of Johnson & Johnson. Dr. Jeffrey Allman, Vice President Discovery and External R&D, Sanofi Pasteur. And Tom Wiggins, Chairman of the Board of Directors for the Biotechnology Institute.
We are all proud that our biotechnology industry is focused on building a better future, addressing some of society's most challenging problems in healthcare, clean energy, and feeding the world. And there is nothing more important in building that better future than training young, talented scientists and interesting them in the challenges and opportunities of biotechnology. So at Janssen Pharmaceutical Companies of Johnson & Johnson, we are proud to be a co-sponsor of the International BioGENius Challenge. It is a personal pleasure to be here today to introduce the 2011 finalists. Since 1994, this competition has been recognizing outstanding high school student research in the field of biotechnology. These are the people who will be shaping our future, and they have a lot to say.
Biotechnology to me is really taking ideas from biology and turning them into a technology that can really make a difference in the world.
I worked on this cancer vaccine as an independent project. I had this great idea and I wanted to take it to a different level, but a lot of people said you can't. And I think this competition really shows that there's a lot of kids here who had a great idea or a passion and really carried it through the end to develop some absolutely incredible projects.
I'm looking towards the environmental science field and trying to use my research that I've developed and research that I'll continue to do in college and really apply it to different situations in the world.
I definitely think biotechnology has several applications to help the world, not only in things that I've investigated, such as tissue engineering and stem cell usage, but also several other ways, such as like fixing crops, gene therapy. So I really think the applications are limitless.
I'm hoping to go into medical research, so it's basically everything. It's, you know, all the machines that we're using, a lot of my research now is involving biotechnology. So it's basically going to be what my career is.
It's really humbling in many ways to see high school students around me with such impressive projects.
Things like microbial fuel cells and other alternative fuel sources that can be used to power their homes in these third world countries. So that's, that's one of the many benefits of biotechnology.
It's focusing on Alzheimer's disease, looking at the combination of changes in testosterone levels and the changes in the length of a particular section of the androgen receptor gene and how these affect Alzheimer's disease risk.
Biotechnology is the future of healthcare. It kind of draws upon the existing technology and advances that we've made as a society and integrates it into medical applications.
Well, I know that the competition is very intense. It's fun talking to the judges. They understand the subject matter, so it's a very rewarding experience.
For me, it's the ability to apply biological techniques to all sorts of technological problems.
Being able to be an international finalist, meeting all these people, being at the convention, talking to the leaders of biotechnology, it's a really great feeling.
I always knew that I wanted to go into science, but I didn't know if I wanted to be a doctor, or a researcher, and an engineer or something. But after this, definitely, I think I want to go into research, and particularly into biotechnology research, finding ways to apply the science in real life and help the lives of other people.
The stuff that we can achieve with biotechnology is just limitless. It's definitely what's going to change the world, and it's up for us, the future biotechnologists, to take advantage of this new field of science and really push it as far as we can go to try and help the world in all different areas.
Well, you heard them there, and I think they're inspirational. For us at Sanofi Pasteur, we think that one of the very best things we can do to allow biotechnology to reach its full potential is to support young scientists, and therefore we're very proud to be associated and to be sponsors of this BioGENEius Award program. I don't know if many of you have had a chance to look at their posters, but I'm always amazed by the quality of the projects that they do. They're an inspiration. They tackle all sorts of things from medical problems to biofuels and beyond. And as I said, the quality is outstanding for people of their age. We just hope that taking part in this BioGENEius program will in some way enable them to enhance their careers in the biotech area. Now, the judging has been quite tough. They've been up before a panel of experts and were questioned not only on the quality and the objectives of their projects, but also on their broader scientific knowledge, and in particular on whether they can see commercial applications to their projects and their advances. And it's in that way that they were judged. We're now going to present the winners, the four winners, but in my book, actually they're all winners. They've done so well to get to this point, and I congratulate all of them.
And now the top four finishers in this year's International BioGENeius Challenge. The fourth place winner, who will receive a cash award of $1,000, is Jenna Papalardo, medaling with RGS-17, Merritt Island, Florida. The third place winner, who will receive a $2,500 award, is David Campeau, Brain-Computer Interface, Mayo High School, Rochester, Minnesota. The second place winner, who will receive a $5,000 award, is Nathan Kondamuri, a novel biofuel cell based on direct electron transfer type bioelectrocatalysis, incorporating the efficient system of photophosphorylation, Munster High School, Dyer, Indiana. And the first place winner in the 2011 International BioGENeius Challenge, who will receive a $7,500 award, is Pratna Dalal, modeling of human non-deletional hereditary persistence of fetal hemoglobin conditions in beta-globin locus transgenic mouse models, the 175T to C and 195C to G A-gamma globulin gene point mutations, Shawnee Mission East High School, Leawood, Kansas. Please join me in congratulating all these fine young scientists. Thank you for your attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Tom Watkins, President, CEO, Human Genome Sciences.
Thank you. Last year, Bio honored Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley as our Bio Governor of the Year, and he has certainly demonstrated that he is a true champion of biotechnology and the life sciences. Governor O'Malley understands the potential that our companies and our scientists have to heal, fuel, and feed the world. Just a couple of years ago, Governor O'Malley launched a 10-year, $1.3 billion initiative to move Maryland's bioscience industry forward. And he has played a leadership role in encouraging creative approaches to capital formation specifically designed to benefit our many emerging companies. Most recently, the Maryland General Assembly enacted legislation proposed by Governor O'Malley that will create Invest Maryland, a new program that will generate $75 million of funding for investment in Maryland's emerging, high-potential growth industries, including biotechnology. Governor O'Malley has also played a significant leadership role at the federal level and has aggressively supported Bio's positions on a number of initiatives and issues that are vitally important to us all. It is my great pleasure and distinct honor to introduce Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley.
Thanks very, very much. Tom Watkins, thank you so very, very much for your outstanding leadership of a great Maryland company, Human Genome Sciences. And also, Tom, thank you for your leadership of the Maryland Life Science Advisory Board. A couple of years ago here at Bio, we announced in Maryland a $1.3 billion initiative to further accelerate our leadership in life sciences and biotech. And Tom has been the leader of that initiative. There's lots of states that talk about doing things like that, but especially in these tough times, to be able to bring together business and government to accomplish these investments, investments that create jobs, investments in the ways we feed, fuel, and heal this world of ours, has been one of the real bright spots of my public service to the people of our state. I want to thank all of you for my, how do we say it now, my last year as a biotech governor. I'm going to be passing my tiara on to another governor tomorrow, and I won't take that away from Jim Greenwood and his announcement. But I do want to thank this organization. And Jim Greenwood, I want to thank you for your leadership. Bioscience, unlocking our future potential, unlocking our moral leadership of this world. You know, we are the first generation of human beings ever to see the size of our population on this planet double in our lifetimes. That creates enormous pressures, but also enormous opportunities in the ways that we feed, fuel, and heal this world of ours, and create the jobs and expand the opportunities that give our children a better future than the one we've enjoyed. In Maryland, we have 1,700 private facilities now. We are now one of the top 5 largest life science concentrations of companies anywhere in the United States. We have 500 plus privately held bio companies, 58 various federal facilities throughout our states, colleges and universities like the University of Maryland and Johns Hopkins. We are executing on that 10-year, $1.3 billion plan called Bio 2020. We actually increased last year our biotechnology tax credit. We extended our R&D tax credit. We created the largest single shot of venture capital that we've ever done as a state, and we did it in tough economic times because we know that there is still enormous economic opportunity in moving the great ideas from the labs and into the marketplace. We have a combination not only of location, we have the #1 schools in America, so says Education Week magazine, 3 years in a row. We have more PhD scientists and engineers per capita than any other state in the nation. And it is little wonder then that the U.S. Chamber of Commerce has listed Maryland as one of the top 2 states for innovation and entrepreneurship. The Milken Institute says we are one of the top 2 states in science and technology, and the Kaufman Index, New Economy Index, ranks us among the top 3. There are many states that would like to be leaders in your industry, in life science and biotech. In Maryland, we're not talking about being leaders. We're taking the actions and making the investments every single day in every single way to make it so. And I thank you all so much, and I welcome you to this remarkable Chesapeake Crescent. Thanks very, very much.
The Biotechnology Industry Organization. For innovation, for industry, for you. Advocating for sound public policies. Promoting science-based policies. Strengthening intellectual property. Expanding grants and tax credits for innovation. Supporting the business of biotech. Providing access to capital and partners. Protecting your bottom line. Expanding industry awareness. Educating media and the market. Influencing opinion leaders. building our biotech community. The Biotechnology Industry Organization. Advocacy. Business. Outreach. Bio. Now you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the Honorable Jim Greenwood, President and CEO of Bio.
Look at all you beautiful, brilliant biotech leaders. Welcome to Bio 2011. Welcome to Washington. That was quite a video, fast-moving video you just saw. But I bet I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, that's a nice self-promotional video, Jim. But what have you done for us lately? So that's what I'd like to talk to you about today. I'd like to tell you what Bio has been doing lately. We've been imagining. We've been imagining not just how biotechnology can heal and fuel and feed the world, but how we at Bio can make that happen sooner rather than later. And so with that vision in mind, the Bio board and our staff have been hard at work for the past year. We've been constructing a comprehensive legislative proposal. This is Bio's first ever 5-year plan. And we're confident that this plan will accelerate our progress. So today I want to share with you some of the details, because we believe that unleashing the promise of biotechnology can help us to change the world. And talk about changing the world, the other day I came across an article discussing vaccinations. And the author mentioned his 15-year-old son, asking him, "Dad, what's polio?" Well, many of us here are old enough to remember when polio struck fear and caused suffering for millions. But today, at least in the developed world, polio is something that kids have to ask their parents to explain to them. So imagine someday our grandchildren asking us, "What was cancer?" How great would that be? Well, that is the future that we in biotechnology envision and that we work towards every single day. To take cancer and AIDS and Alzheimer's and malaria and all the other deadly and feared diseases that still end millions of lives each year and move them from the medical books to the history books. Now, is there a reason that we shouldn't envision a time when children will ask their parents, "What was it like back when people went hungry?" Or when they worried about climate change? This is our vision, but we all know how much work it will take to get us there. So think about it. Screening millions of compounds for hits that might, but probably won't, become leads, it can be monotonous. There's always that hope. Getting up in the morning and buttoning up the lab coat day after day, putting in the hours, might just lead to a new breakthrough drug. The process of supplicating to yet another venture capital firm that might fund your startup company, but probably won't, and then doing it over and over and over, that's grueling. You know, clearly there are easier and less insane ways to make a living. But the dream of changing a patient's life, and maybe the lives of millions of patients, that's what keeps you going. And researchers at agricultural biotech companies certainly don't get results overnight either. It takes years to copy and modify genes, to insert them into plants, wait for them to grow to see if the desired trait is acquired. And it usually isn't. But the prayer of a chance that success in the lab could mean significantly more crops in farmers' fields that could make the difference between life and death for millions of the world's hungry. That's what sustains those scientists. And Lord knows it's not easy to convert the cellulose and plant matter to sugars that can be fermented and converted to biofuels and plastics. It takes a huge amount of scientific effort to construct enzymes to take apart plant matter that was meant to be very durable. But it's the dream that even though this next experiment probably won't work, it just might. And that could lead to the production of a new, affordable, clean-burning fuel that helps to save our world from overheating. It's that dream that keeps the bench scientist peering into her microscope day after day. And every one of you is working on some part of this vision for the future. You're brainstorming, researching, developing the biotech innovations that will transform our world. It's what you do. Now, we at Bio, we're not the scientists, we're not the entrepreneurs, we're not the investors. But we are your voice, your advocates to the policymakers and decision makers. So we work to create the right conditions so your work can go forward. The video we saw mentioned some of our recent accomplishments. We fight in the political trenches for policies that support biotech innovation. That's what we do. And we spend as much time fighting bad policy as we do advocating good policy. But despite all of our progress, let's face it, we are not getting the cures to patients, the crops to farmers, and the fuels to consumers nearly as fast as we need to. So we at Bio have not just been imagining a better world through biotech innovation, we've been constructing a plan to get us there and to get us there a lot faster. And we know that the problem isn't that the people in biotechnology aren't up to the job. For example, in May, the FDA approved 2 new drugs that completely eliminate the hepatitis C virus from patients. Now, that's not just a treatment. It's about as close to a cure as you can get for a disease that has been a death sentence for millions. One of those new drugs is from Vertex, Josh Boger's company, the other from Merck. These medicines are protease inhibitors that block the enzyme that the virus uses to make copies of itself. Now, to develop those, scientists had to figure out the structure of the protease so they could then find the best binding configuration for the drug. Now, if biotech researchers can figure out all that, and they can solve problems just as complex, then why can't policymakers in every country figure out how to help us get these cures to patients faster? Imagine if it didn't take 10 or 15 years to get a new medicine to patients. Imagine if we didn't have companies laying off researchers and killing promising projects because investors just can't afford the risk of funding early-stage companies. Instead, what if when you went on a roadshow, the investors couldn't line up fast enough to give you money? That brought chuckles to the audience. What if the FDA review of new product applications was actually coherent and transparent and predictable? More laughter. What if you could get your new drugs approved, or drug or device approved in a timely way? What a concept. What if the EPA, the USDA, and the FDA actually worked together to approve new biotech plant and animal products? Is that a concept? Imagine the difference it would make if every country's government made biotech innovation a national priority. Now, is that too much to ask? I don't think so. So last year, after our convention ended in Chicago, I decided that to truly unleash the pace of biotech innovation, we had to think bigger, bolder, and more outside of the box. So at Bio, we started what we called our Big Thinking Project. We asked biotech leaders, investors, and patients across the country to give us your biggest and smartest ideas to radically change the policy environment. And we said, don't worry about how controversial or how politically difficult it would be to accomplish, because that's our job. So we've been imagining and designing the ideal environment that would take biotech policy to keep up with biotech science. We spent the past year collecting ideas, thinking them through, and hammering them into legislative and regulatory reforms that we will hand deliver to the Congress and to the President of the United States. Can you imagine what it would be like if the President and members of Congress, Republicans and Democrats, put aside their political differences? Nah, it's too much to imagine. But imagine if they were to come to us and ask, what do you guys need? What resources and regulatory changes do you need so you can turn the science you've developed into the therapies and the crops and the fuels our world so desperately needs? Well, we'd say, we need an FDA that is more interested in promoting new drugs than in postponing them. We'd say, we need tax policy that encourages private investment in biotechnology companies. We'd say, we need Congress to get real about benefit and risk on behalf of patients who are, frankly, running out of time. And we'd say, we need Congress and the President to understand that medical innovation doesn't begin and end with the NIH. It takes place every day in small and medium and large biotech companies who need government to work with them and not against them. So yes, we can imagine Congress and the President asking what we need, but we're not sitting by the phone waiting for them to call. We have been going to the White House and to the Capitol and saying, look, our country has big, big problems to solve, and we know how to help. The United States is facing huge deficits, more than $1 trillion this year, and we're already $14 trillion in debt. And you guys in Congress have to do better than just having a political food fight over it. Now, Congress knows that one of the biggest factors driving spending, and this is true all over the world, is the cost of government-funded health care. Medicare is facing an unfunded liability of almost $25 trillion over the next 20 years. Our population is aging, just as it is in many developed countries. Here in the U.S., the baby boom generation started turning 65 this year, making them eligible for Medicare. And in fact, in the United States, 10,000 people turn 65 every single day. And 10,000 more will turn 65 every day for the next 20 years. There are 50 million Medicare beneficiaries today. There will be about 65 million by the end of this decade and more than 80 million by the end of the next. Now, the cost of caring for their cardiovascular disease, their cancer, their diabetes, and their Alzheimer's is unaffordable. We've been telling members of Congress, if you give us a chance, we can help you solve that problem. Because you can't do it with price controls. And if you try, you will kill innovation. The reason healthcare is expensive is not because doctors and hospitals and drugs are expensive. Healthcare is expensive because cancer is expensive. Healthcare is expensive because diabetes is expensive. Healthcare is expensive because Alzheimer's is expensive. What we need is less cancer, less diabetes, less heart disease, less Alzheimer's. What we need are fewer sick people. Fewer sick people here in America and fewer sick people around the globe. If we have fewer sick people, we'll spend fewer dollars on health care. If we have fewer sick people, we'll have less suffering. And that is precisely what biotechnology innovation offers. So instead of Congress fixating on the cost of innovative medicines, they should consider this: a new drug that could delay the onset of Alzheimer's by 5 years would save Medicare $50 billion a year. Let me repeat that. $50 billion a year in Medicare savings. That's what biotechnology can do. But we could do so much more with the right policies. So we say to Congress, you can't control the federal budget without controlling health care. You can't control healthcare spending without controlling chronic disease. And to control chronic disease, you need much more, not less, biotechnology innovation. But for our industry to deliver on that promise, we need help with a few things. So Congress, let's work together and fight the disease, not the cure. We need to re-engineer the economic model that drives biotech innovation. And we need to create a 21st century FDA. We need to re-engineer the economic model because biotech companies are different. They have to survive on investor capital for long and rocky years before they make a dime. Our tax code doesn't really recognize this, but it should. Our tax laws need to include incentives to encourage and not to punish more investment in biotech innovation. So that's why our plan includes 8 new capital formation proposals, including a new 50% angel investor tax credit for companies with fewer than 500 employees, a new R&D partnership structure, a provision to make investments in small biotechs eligible for reduced capital gains tax rates, matching federal grants to VCs that fund small innovative companies, new net operating loss provisions, incentives for multinational companies to return overseas investment funds and invest them here in small biotechs, and a patent box providing reduced corporate rates on income derived from certain kinds of IP. So now let's turn to the FDA. The Congress has given the FDA neither the resources nor the authority to do its job. The FDA review process has become too unpredictable, too time-consuming, and too expensive. Regulatory science hasn't kept up with the frontiers of innovation. And the agency has been given too many conflicting missions and not enough resources to perform them. We have to change that. Our plan has 11 regulatory reform provisions, including making the FDA an independent agency, updating the FDA's mission statement to give the agency a clear mandate that it's to encourage the development of innovative products, providing greater continuity of leadership by giving the FDA commissioner a fixed term of office so that she doesn't change or he doesn't change with every new presidential administration, giving the agency a chief innovation officer to ensure that forward-thinking, cutting-edge science is integrated into agency operations at all levels, giving the agency new ways to bring in top-notch external science and medical advice and more input from patients. We also propose creating a progressive approval path so that even before final approval, patients can have earlier access to promising therapies. So more investment in biotech research and a streamlined, predictable approval process will bring new medicines to patients faster and keep them healthier at far less cost. We're also telling Congress and the White House that to balance the budget, we need more high-wage, tax-paying jobs. But when you put biotechnology to work, you put people to work, lots of them. So our message to Congress and the President is focus on how to incentivize biotechnology investments in medicines, agricultural products, and advanced biofuels, and you watch us bring the employment rate down. We've put together a comprehensive bio-based economy, jobs, and development act that would give a needed boost to dedicated energy crops, renewable chemicals, advanced biofuels, and next-generation biorefineries. We also need bold policy changes to advance agricultural biotechnology. Unfortunately, the U.S. regulatory system for plant and animal biotechnology is fast becoming the greatest impediment to the development of safe and beneficial products. Plant and animal biotechnology developers are no longer certain how long regulatory approval will take, which agency might also claim authority over a product, which data will be required, what the decision will be based upon, and especially how susceptible a decision will be to a legal challenge. Our plan calls on Congress to provide clear direction to the regulatory agencies to fix this mess. So these are the kinds of policies that will enable us to achieve the dreams we've imagined. We all have a lot to be proud of. Hundreds of biologic treatments and cures for deadly diseases, biotech crops feeding millions and creating new opportunities for poor farmers in developing countries, biofuels and bio-based products saving resources and reducing pollution. Every day, our products reduce suffering, save lives, and provide hope and healing. But for us, That's just not good enough. If we really intend to leave our children a world with less disease, less hunger, and less pollution, then we have to face the reality that our time is running out. We have to do more. We have to move faster. We can innovate solutions to the world's most challenging, pressing problems, and we want to do more. We can do more. And that's why we're proposing big ideas. Clearly, our ideas for unleashing the promise of biotechnology won't be easy to sell on Capitol Hill. But the facts are on our side, and the science is on our side too. So I'm going to need your help. You have the passion and the knowledge to tell this story and to tell it convincingly. I need every one of you to add your voice to our effort. Tell your congressman about this plan. And we will move the policymakers to our side too. And when we do that, we will move this world closer to the one we all have imagined. Thank you.
For more than 50 years, employees of the Johnson & Johnson pharmaceutical companies have helped to transform healthcare around the world. From research and development to bringing innovative therapies to market and ensuring access to our medicines, we have been united in our purpose to improve the lives of patients. Over the past 2 decades, we introduced important biologic medicines, including the very first therapeutic antibody, one of the very first erythropoietins, and have transformed the field of immunology, introducing the first anti-TNF therapy and a first-in-class monoclonal antibody. In addition to advances in biotechnology, we also introduced 3 HIV drugs, expanding options for patients at every stage of treatment, innovated life-improving treatments for mental health, and recently launched the first once-daily treatment for advanced prostate cancer. Today, we remain focused on delivering a portfolio of differentiated medicines to patients and physicians on every continent so that they might access and benefit from these therapies. And we continue to advance one of the most robust pipelines of biologics and small molecules in the industry and in the world, because we share one overarching mission: to transform the lives of patients and ultimately solve the most important unmet medical needs of our time. We are uniting our family of companies together under one name. We are the Janssen Pharmaceutical Companies of Johnson & Johnson. As Janssen, we are forging a new future for medicine by bringing our broad capabilities together with complementary technologies and expertise. We are applying our biologic and small molecule expertise and our recently gained vaccine capabilities through Crucell even more broadly. As part of accessing innovation, we are working together with select partners across our company, across geographies, and across the boundaries that have separated public and private, industry and academia. Because collectively, we share a vision of providing new hope and good health for millions of patients and their families all around the world. At Janssen, we believe there are no limits to what science can do. And we never lose sight of those who rely most on our discoveries.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Paul Stoffels, Worldwide Chairman, Janssen Pharmaceutical Companies of Johnson & Johnson.
Good afternoon. On behalf of Johnson & Johnson, I'm pleased to be here with you today at the 2011 Biotechnology Industry Organization International Convention. Johnson & Johnson remains a strong supporter and active participant in the biopharmaceutical industry, which continues to redefine medicine and make a difference in improving people's lives worldwide. Our goal is to match the medical needs with the best science in the world, collaborate to accelerate innovation, and deliver therapies to diagnose, treat, prevent, and eventually cure the important diseases of our time. We take great pride in the contributions our scientists have made and continue to make. I proudly announce that today marks a milestone for the Johnson & Johnson pharmaceutical companies. Today, Centocor, Biotech, Johnson & Johnson Pharmaceuticals R&D, Ortho McNeil and others unite under one identity, Janssen, the pharmaceutical companies of Johnson & Johnson. Our name is a tribute to the late Dr. Paul Janssen, one of the most productive scientists of his time, who contributed to the development of more than 80 medicines. Our identity reflects his spirit of collaboration in advancing the best science to transform the health of people globally. Johnson & Johnson has a strong history of innovation in biotechnology through many companies, including Centocor, which joined our family more than a decade ago. We introduced Procrit, one of the first erythropoietins, over 20 years ago, developed OKT3, the first therapeutic antibody, and brought innovative biologics for immunologic diseases, including Remicade, Simponi, and Stelara, to patients worldwide. And we continue to advance under the leadership of our Chief Biotechnology Officer, Jay Siegel, new science and therapies that make a dramatic impact in the lives of patients living with chronic and disabling diseases. Today, we are leveraging our broad-based capabilities in small molecules, biologics, and now, with the recent acquisition of Crucell, we also include vaccines in our portfolio. This, along with our scientific and medical knowledge, allows us to make a difference in oncology, immunology, cardiovascular and metabolic disease, neuroscience, and infectious disease. We are also continuing to strengthen our pipeline with the development of multiple novel antibody therapeutics and new platforms that enhance our biologics products by harnessing the latest advances in science through strategic partnerships, licensing and acquisitions, and collaborations with leading scientists around the world.